今日は社長が聞く Wii U ということで、
So today, I've asked Eguchi-san to join me for a session of Iwata Asks for Wii U. Viewers may know you as the man who created the Animal Crossing games, or as the producer of Wii Sports and Wii Sports Resort. Now, Mr. Eguchi, you've taken the role of general producer of the software side of Wii U, so I would like to ask you about the Wii U in general. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me.
So first, how would you describe this new hardware, the Wii U, to those who are seeing it for the very first time?
The first thing I would tell them would definitely be about the new controller with a built-in screen.
The Wii U gamepad.
It's included with the hardware.
It comes included with every system.
Yes, it's important to explain, first of all, that the new controller comes included, and what you used to play only on the TV screen is now playable with both the TV and a second screen in your hands. The Nintendo 3DS has two screens as well, but being able to move the two screens independently is really very distinctive.
You can now position the second screen however you want. The Nintendo DS and Nintendo 3DS screens are set.
They move together.
They move together. The two screens were always at a set distance from one another, but now there's no such restriction.
When explaining the system, I also like to bring up the idea that the living room TV is something that people gather around to share a single screen experience, but that the screen on the Wii U gamepad can serve as a screen all to yourself, which is really exciting when you think about being able to create new games with completely new ways to play.
The two screens offer all kinds of possibilities with how they're different sizes, have different purposes, and can be positioned independently of each other.
Absolutely. For example, until now when multiple people played with a single screen, the screen would have to be split. And the problem with that is that everyone would be able to see what everyone else is doing. They'd see your screen. Now you can play with your screen hidden from everyone else.
So there's one person in the room with a screen no one else can see.
Right, you can do those things. I also have high expectations for creating deeper game experiences where the second screen can function as a separate display for information that supports the main gameplay on the bigger screen where most of the action takes place.
In addition to your general producer role on Wii U software, you're also the producer of Nintendo Land, which was shown on stage. In a sense, Nintendo Land is to Wii U what Wii Sports was to the Wii. It has the role of demonstrating the capabilities of the Wii U, a showcase for the possibilities of this new system. Ultimately, Nintendo Land will feature 12 attractions in all, right?
Right, it's called Nintendo Land, and we're making it with the concept of what if Nintendo made a theme park? And just as you described, we've been experimenting with all sorts of different ideas from the moment we started working on this new system. Find out what kind of new game experiences are possible with Wii U. We ended up choosing some of the more standout experiences that best show off all the various types of play that can be had from among those different ideas, and then we made it into a product.
So you started by creating the basic gameplay foundations first, then created an environment to match those experiences, and placed Nintendo characters to flesh out the various attractions. So you first started by creating a variety of different gameplay foundations.
That's right. There are these 12 attractions. Half of them are experiences that are particularly fun with lots of players, while the other half we asked ourselves what kind of single-player games we could create, both of them showcasing the Wii U gamepad.
In a sense, Nintendo Land is a culmination, a fruit of labor, so to speak, of all the trials and errors we went through working on everything for Wii U since we decided we were going to make the Wii U gamepad, this controller with its own screen.
Right, I think you could put it that way.
While we were having discussion after discussion on what the Wii U experience should be, Wii consoles were being placed in living rooms and connected to the living room TVs at a very high percentage. The situation has fortunately come close to what we hoped it to be. But at the same time, we had an extremely difficult challenge on our hands. Because it's connected to the living room TV, the player, the one playing the game, isn't able to occupy the TV all the time. That became an obstacle for the Wii to be accepted as a platform to play games where you sit down and play for a long time as sufficiently as we want it to be. Now with the Wii U and its second screen, you're able to use the TV screen when available and the screen in your hands when it's not. And another factor that I think is important is that traditionally with video games, you would take a moment to sit down in front of the TV in that one best position and prepare yourself to play. But now with games quickly available right here on the second screen, you can be anywhere in the living room, sitting however you want, and start playing even if you're facing away from the TV. I think it lowers the threshold for playing games quite a bit. Of course, someone could ask why you wouldn't just play with a portable gaming device. But the graphics on the Wii U gamepad screen are graphics processed by the Wii U, a home video game machine which is capable of showing HD graphics on your TV, displayed on this second screen with virtually zero lag. Essentially, it can display graphics that are difficult to achieve with existing portable game devices. I think what's so great about it is how rich of an experience it offers.
Right. Another thing is that once the TV is free, you can switch over and continue playing on the TV screen right away. And then even people around you may get interested in the game you're playing and even start playing with you. I'm happy to think that that sort of thing could happen all the time.
In that sense, I guess, the game machine would be turned on more often in the household.
I have really high hopes that it will.
And regarding features built into the hardware, there are quite a few different things packed in there, aren't there? Eguchi-san, how are you positioning functions like video chat or the browser and so forth?
In order to increase opportunities for users to interact with the hardware, in addition to games, we wanted to provide other features that people use in their everyday lives, especially something like a web browser. These days, it's very handy having web browsers available in laptops and smartphones and such. But I think compared to traditional browsers, there's a lot of appeal in a browser that takes advantage of having a TV screen and the Wii U gamepad. I hope people use the browser in ways that they never have before.
When I first saw how the curtain opens and closes, well, let me explain it first. When you're browsing on the Wii U gamepad, you can always see what's on the browser on the second screen, and you can show what's on there on the TV when you want to share it with others. But when you want to have them wait a minute before they see it on the TV, you can press a button to have a curtain close on the TV screen while you prepare what you want to show them on the second screen. When you're ready to go, you can open the curtain and go, ta-da! And that has some impact. With things like that, I realized there are a lot of new possibilities in what's possible with two screens.
Right. At my house, my daughter finds funny videos online with her laptop. She invites me to come check it out, but it's actually kind of hard for everyone to get up and go look at a laptop screen together. And the screen is so small, so it's hard to see. It's definitely not the most comfortable experience. Now, it'll be quite something if she could prepare something for me to watch and show it on the TV, saying, "Ta-da!"
That in itself is entertainment.
I think so. I'm really looking forward to things like that.
It's another reason you can't wait to bring it home. Another really significant result of having two screens is the screen that you have up close to you has an undeniable advantage when it comes to reading text or for subtle on-screen controls or inputting text. And it's something I'm sure many viewers have experienced on their tablets and smartphones. On the other hand, though, screens like that are not designed to view with other people. For example, when you try to watch a 10-minute video, it's cumbersome to keep holding something up for that long, while it's much easier if you could just watch it on the TV while you sit back and relax. It's obvious that some things are better viewed on a smaller screen that you're holding, and others for watching on the TV. And one more thing that we touched on in the Nintendo Direct we showed just before the E3 show. We created a new feature called the Miiverse. It's not a standalone service, but it's a rather ambitious one which resides deep within the system, so this service can be provided on every game. Eguchi-san, what are your thoughts on this?
Right. Miiverse, to me, is something I wish we always had. So in that sense, I'm really looking forward to it. Even when I'm making a game, I always hope that players will talk a lot about the game after it's launched. But when I personally want to start some conversations on the internet about a game I'm playing, I get a little scared, like, what if I say something and people think it's a spoiler and get mad at me, or what if there's nobody to talk to? I thought we could make a place where people could talk about games with all kinds of people. There are already message boards of all sorts all over the internet, but as something made by Nintendo, I thought we could really intertwine it directly within our games. I have really high hopes for this feature.
Right. Well, as for fun games in the past, the really popular games were so popular because the games were really well made, of course, but it was also great how you were able to talk about it with others. Whether it was about a secret level in a Mario game, a trick you learned, or how far you were in Dragon Quest or in a Pokemon game, and what kind of strategies people had and how they were so different depending on who you asked. All those things were a part of what made playing games so much fun. Those elements outside of the game were actually a part of those games' experiences. You made it so that this kind of communication would occur naturally just by having all kinds of people playing on Wii U.
Even now, as I play games, I find myself going on to internet bulletin boards on my laptop or smartphone and finding out how others are playing the same games. That kind of communication does exist, but now you can connect from the game screen you're playing at that moment directly to the Miiverse, so you can pick up information by communicating with others and express yourself about what you found fun about a certain game. That's something I'm really excited about.
When you made Miiverse, I bet you were glad we made the Wii U gamepad.
Yeah, another great benefit of having the touchscreen is that now you're able to communicate by inputting text or creating messages in your own handwriting. You can pause the game and go straight into communicating on the screen right there in your hands. It's really great to be able to do that so seamlessly. It's hard to describe, but I think it's easy to understand once you see it. As you're playing a game, you can get a sense of how people in other parts of the world felt about a certain section of that same game that you're all playing, and that's available right in the middle of the game. It's really something I can't wait for people to experience for themselves.
任天堂はずっと長年部屋の中にいる複数の人をゲームを通じてつないで
Well, since everyone here at Nintendo has been working hard and trying to bring smiles to everyone in the room through video games. Now with Miiverse, even if you were by yourself in the room, I hope people get a sense that they're not playing all alone, but there are others who are having fun and feeling a certain way in the same way all around the world. I think that's going to be a very fun thing to experience. As we're crunching to get it done in time, tell me, what is the Wii U? What's this system all about?
自分がこう家族の一員として
I really strongly feel it's a game machine that, say maybe you're about to buy one for one of your kids who's interested in games, but knowing it's also something that you'll want to have fun with too, creating some great family time together.
っていう気持ちで買うことができるゲーム機なんじゃないかなっていうすごく強く思います。で、自分の
From my own personal experience, the games I've been involved with really valued playing together, whether it was a game you played gathered around in the living room or a game on a portable device. Now thinking about the experiences centered around Wii U, especially with Nintendo Land, this was something I held up very high. But at the same time, I was thinking about the players who will be playing by themselves and how we're definitely not going to leave them behind. They love games. I love games myself. So I really understand how those people feel. We needed to make a gaming system that those people could really sink their teeth into. So it had to have both aspects. I think we were able to make a machine where it's a Wii U experience, whether you play by yourself or as a group. So I hope people buy one and try it out for themselves.
It's quite the greedy machine, isn't it?
It sure is.
There were all these problems that we weren't able to solve with Wii. But now with the Wii U gamepad, the Miiverse service, and upgraded hardware, the Wii U isn't only an improved Wii, but I think it grew into something that is capable of doing something completely different. I really believed it evolved not only in a clean, straight line, but in another giant leap. And that's a conviction that is growing stronger every day.
As someone involved directly in development, I feel that too.
Right. Let's work even harder than we are now so we can bring smiles to faces of people around the world. Thank you for your time today.
Thank you.